the best people to learn from is someone who does it before. Like if you were going to go play college tennis like you did, you know, the best person to talk to is someone who's played college tennis before, right? And so when I decided to run for city council, I talked to people who run for city council before, both people who had won and people who had lost. And it was really interesting because I would get advice from a lot of people, and the other people, like almost all the advice they gave me was not helpful. But the people who had ran before, whether they won or lost, wow, their advice was so, so helpful. So now when I'm advising tech company CEOs, I tell them, listen, listen to me, listen to the other venture capitalists, but most importantly, talk to people who have actually run a company, ones who are running it now, ones who are running before, because you'll learn the most. And that's going to be true for your students, people, when they're going to college or playing sports or get their first job, talk to people who've done it before. You'll learn most from them. The sports that I do are endurance sports, running, biking, swimming. My dad opened up a triathlon store when I was in junior high school, almost 40 years ago now. And so I've always thought of myself as someone who, if nothing else, I can wear somebody down. And it's funny because I've already referenced Bobby Kennedy a couple of times. So the reason why I referenced him is because when I was in no one in my family is in politics. My parents were hippies, so they advocated from the outside, but no one really was ever on the inside of a government. So I had to figure it all out for myself. So like I knew I was getting into politics very young. So I started reading about the Kennedys because Jack Kennedy is the youngest president ever, and his brother was 7 years younger as the attorney general, and they started when they were in their late 20s. So I figured, these guys, I'll learn something by reading about them. And so one of the things I remember was them saying that the Kennedys treated campaigns like an athletic event. They treated it like they were going to just basically outlast everyone, like Novak does on the court. You know what I mean? Or a marathoner, Kipchoge or somebody on the marathon course. So one of the strategies towards winning a political campaign, especially at a city level, is going door to door. And so, and I didn't have any money, and I had no name recognition. So by working on other campaigns, I knew how valuable having a sign in someone's yard was, um, both as advertising and kind of winning their votes. So what I decided was I was just going to knock on everybody's door in the entire district. So that was definitely over 10,000 doors, 10 to 20, 15,000 doors. And I
That's
was going to do that. And everyone who said they would vote for me, I'd ask them if I could put a sign in their yard. And it really became like this kind of movement almost. It was like kind of grassroots energy at its finest. So we would put up these green signs that had my name on them, and one day you would start to see one sign, and then maybe a month later you may see 100 signs, and a month later you may see 1,000 signs. And that's kind of how you go about winning a campaign when you have a lot less money than your opponent, and a lot less name recognition. You just figure out a way. I just think it's great to highlight the achievements of African Americans in this country. And some people rightfully say it should be, a whole year, and some people may not want it to happen at all. You know what I mean? I just love the positivity that comes out of highlighting what African Americans have contributed in this country, and maybe in this world. So, you know, it probably seeped into my consciousness, as people told me about, African American politicians. You know what I mean? And I probably was, in elementary school and then in middle school and high school, and I probably learned about, you know, Thurgood Marshall and and the first black mayors who were elected, and the first black governor who came from Virginia, which is very near Doug Wilder, near me in DC. So you never know. Hey, we're teaching things in Black History Month. You teach somebody about Arthur Ashe or Francis Tiafoe, and then all of a sudden they're confident they can do it themselves, or they run for mayor because they know that people have done it before them. So I'm a big fan. I think it's a huge positive, and I may be one example of a situation where someone it really helps someone figure out their career path.